All right, man. It's fucking July 15th, man. It's almost July 16th.
Yeah, halfway through the month, man. Halfway through the hottest month in Missouri.
Dude, I feel like as you get older, time goes by faster.
Way faster.
Yeah.
That's probably just an illusion, given, because it's like you have more memories and shit like that. So,
You actually have to, like, plan things and pay bills and shit, and you have, like, time parameters on just life.
Yeah, you can't just, like, run outside and, like, grab some sticks and pretend you're, 007 and climb trees and shit. You can't be doing that anymore.
They say the pineal gland actually fully develops when you're 25 years old, and that's the gland that perceives time for what it is. So that's maybe why whenever you get older, the days go by faster, and the months and the years and shit like that.
That's a possibility too. I didn't know the I call it the pineal gland. I might be how do you pronounce it?
Pineal gland.
Pineal gland?
Yeah.
The pineal gland, like I didn't know that had an effect on the perception of time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Dude, so
that gland does a lot, man.
I know. Welcome to Talk Junkies, bitches and motherfuckers in the hood of America, Japan, China, motherfucking Europe, wherever the fuck you are. Welcome.
Croatia.
Croatia in the house.
We got some shit going down, man. Trey did a podcast with me last week. Jesse was feeling like a little baby boy and didn't want to do it. He had to fix his car and shit, but
At 10:30 at night.
I literally couldn't drive my car. It was overheating. I had a coolant leak.
Fair
I needed
enough.
to get it fixed.
Fair enough.
Transportation's important, motherfucker. Come on.
But Trey's gonna be fucking producing for us. He's gonna be doing some shit. We're making moves, man. We're adding another person. But anyways, man, I start my day today and I watched, what is it called? It's not Mulan, but it's like
Moana.
Moana, yeah. I watched that twice today because my daughter, who is 11 months as of yesterday, loves that fucking movie. So I watched Moana, which The Rock is in it.
I love that movie, man.
Yeah. You've seen it?
Fuck yeah.
I watched it twice, though, man.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive. In one day.
It's not that good.
Oh, that's a good movie. Come on.
Not two watches per day.
Yeah, kind of good.
But it keeps her like entertained. But at the same time, I don't want to entertain my daughter by television. So we'll cross that bridge when it gets there. But
Disney movies are so good, man.
They are.
All Disney movies.
We're gonna get into some shit today, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna start it off with the death penalty. It's a very controversial subject. Has been since the day of man started civilization. Which even then, before civilization, men were killing men for fucking probably cannibalism and shit. But who really knows?
Yeah, cannibalism and shit. You want me to get it started off and just like my opinion?
Yeah,
like what I think?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I am not for the death penalty at all. I think that for a couple of reasons. My number one reason for me being against the death penalty is just in case somebody didn't do that shit, because people get wrongfully incarcerated and sentenced to life. It's happened a fucking shit ton of times, which is horrible for somebody to spend their life behind bars, fucking miserable, having to worry about dropping the soap, and shit for some shit they didn't fucking do. That sounds fucking brutal. So that's my number one reason, is just in case. And I understand, like, our forensic technology is the best it's ever been, in leaps and bounds what it was even 20, 30 years ago. So they are starting to fix that issue. But that's my number one, is just in case they're in prison for something that they didn't do, and the possibility that some DNA evidence or some shit, they find some dried cum on a fucking ear of corn out in the field of Kansas or some shit that they didn't fucking know about and are able to get them out. So that's my main number one. My number two is that if they are really some sick motherfucker that kills a shit ton of people, I think death is too good for them. Just because my belief in religion and shit like that.
It's the easy way out.
Yeah, it's the easy way out. Let them sit behind bars in a room by themselves and let them contemplate the horrible things that they fucking done for 80, 90 fucking years, eating the same fucking meal. I think that's legitimately what they deserve.
Yeah.
Those are my two main points.
And segregation is not something to fuck around with. I mean, depending on what state you're in a small cell 23 to 22 hours a day by yourself, and you get 1 hour of recreation time, and you're in a small enclosed area where some of the states you don't even see the sun at all, or you're in a concrete area. That's nothing to fuck around with, man. That fucks with the psyche.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. We're social creatures. Anytime you start getting that, excluding people from that, people start going fucking crazy, man.
Well-
Even in a matter of hours. Like you put somebody like in a room for like, if you just had 24 hours with no perception of time and no human contact, you probably fucking go a little fucking go a little crazy too, just in 24 hours.
Well, just to break it down to you, man, the U.S. is 5th in the world in most executions. So we're not number 1 for the first time in America.
Nice.
I don't know who the first 4 are. Dude, I was looking at it, man. Saudi Arabia killed a guy by crucifixion.
That happens
What
a
the-
lot.
Yeah, this was recent in the past, 5 years. They killed a dude by crucifixion. Like, that's intense, dude.
Yeah, that's real intense.
Yeah. Like,
That's a horrible way to fucking die, man.
well, and then, like, in Uzbekistan or something, did I say that right? Uzbekistan, it's like
No, it's I think
Uzbekistan.
it's like Yuka something.
It's like Uzbekistan. They're it's not confirmed, but like people who have lived there and they've reported that they boil people alive, like
What
fucking
the
crabs,
fuck?
dude. Recently, this isn't like old school shit. This is new school shit where they fucking boil people to death.
That's fucking horrible. There should be no, even if somebody's a horrible fucking murderer, you shouldn't fucking torture them to fucking death either. That's
See,
inhumane.
That's
I
the
think.
thing, though, man. Like, what is the crime they committed, though? Like,
To deserve that kind of shit.
yeah, like Trey and I were talking last week, and we even hit it up in the podcast. Law-abiding citizen. Like, if you witnessed like a man and like 3 dudes come into your house, kill your wife and your fucking like young child,
Mhm.
like what's the punishment for that? Like if you were to boil them alive, I think that's a fair punishment, or dismember them in some certain way, like he does in the movie. Like, is that comparable to like you witnessing your wife and your daughter getting killed?
So you're saying what kind of crime deserves the justice of, or the punishment of fucking being boiled alive? Basically,
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
that's what you're asking me. I don't think any, because that's just a horrific fucking thing.
So you've yet to have a kid yet, and you do have a girlfriend, but let's say someone comes over and you're just chilling with your girl downstairs, and you're taking a shower. You fucking get out of the shower, and she's just dismembered and completely dead and raped or whatever.
Yeah,
Like, what in your mind would be justice at that point?
I would be, nah, man, that'd be fucking a horrible thing to fucking go through, and to try to come at that with a normal
You'd
thought
wanna see that-
process is
you'd want-
impossible. Well, first of all, you cannot have a normal fucking thought process because of the emotional.
But it happens to people.
Yeah,
it
it
happens
does,
to
it
people
does.
every single day.
Okay, I have a little backstory on this boiling thing.
Yeah, I want to hear this. This shit's
So
intense.
in England, King Henry VIII, it looks like, passed a law in 1531 that made boiling people alive the capital punishment for people who murder people by poisoning them. That's that.
Like, without them knowing?
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't say if you poison somebody, that's what your punishment.
So just murder by poisoning.
Right.
You get boiled.
Right.
Fucking, that's weird, man.
That would be horrific to get boiled. I mean, like, even, baked alive.
None of that would be fun. That'd be a horrible way to go out.
Yeah, it says some guy gave several people some poisoned porridge.
That's the Goldilocks
Right.
method.
And that's where that story rose to.
Yeah.
Well,
wait. So it's not happening currently, is what you're saying?
No.
well,
So that's not a thing. That was
well-
like some clickbait shit.
no, it wasn't clickbait. I looked. It was multiple sites that had posted it. They, like I said, it was never confirmed. It was just hearsay that's what they do in Uzbekistan. I'm probably fucking hitting that not even right.
Well,
but
I mean, but so they still do some shit in the Middle East, like some of those dry countries, which I don't even know, like Iraq or Iran, where they don't have any alcohol. Like if you get caught drinking, they lash you. They like literally tie you down and like just beat the shit out of you with like a whip. For you get 50 lashes if you get
Fuck
caught with a
that,
fucking
man.
beer, man. Like that's not fucking okay.
dude, in China, they literally have a fucking in China you can literally get fucking you get the death penalty for fucking tax evasion, drug trafficking, shit like that. You get the death penalty. So they literally fucking have mobile vans that execute people
What
by
the
lethal injection. Yeah,
fuck, dude?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that could be some issue with like some paperwork. Like I lost the Johnson file. Well, sorry. lethal injection, fucking back alley style. You know, some
Okay.
misfiled fucking shit.
Listen to
You need
this.
to be.
Does
Fuck
this
that.
does this sound worse than being boiled alive? It says an ancient Persian method of execution where a person is stripped naked and placed in a tree trunk with only the head and hands and feet protruding. They are then force-fed milk and honey until they develop a severe case of diarrhea. Listen. All of their exposed skin would then be covered in honey to attract insects while they were left floating in a stagnant pond. As the person's feces accumulated, the insects it attracted would begin to eat and breed within his head and skin and something else, which would become increasingly gangrenous. Death could take over 2 weeks.
Jesus. That'd be horrific. 'Cause
That
you're
sounds-
Okay, the people who are coming up with those methods of punishment, they need to not be in any position of power.
Right.
Because they clearly have some kind of mental problem. This is my thing with those, like, punishments. Obviously, that's an extreme fucking, that's some fucking Saw shit. That's probably going to be in the next Saw movie. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. But, is that doesn't, like, that's just going to beget more fucking super fucking violent shit. You expose people to this extreme acts of fucking violence to, like, right some wrong. It's just this, you know, cyclical thing of just horrible fucking things happening to fucking people. I think we need to have a little bit more, you know, a little bit more sympathy. Those, especially, obviously, I'm pretty sure we're all in the same boat here, that being, you know, tied down tree trunk in the middle of a swamp, diarrhea and honey and milk is involved, and that's a little extreme. Like the guillotine. Like, if there was a death penalty, like the guillotine, that's like a legitimate thing. Like, you're literally dead in an instant. You know, the fucking blade comes down, it fucking cuts your head off. There's no pain in that whatsoever. You're just immediately fucking dead. That's reasonable execution. Burned, boiled, all that shit. There's something wrong with people who are able to do that to another human being. Like, I don't think anybody in their fucking right mind, no matter what somebody had done, would be able to go through, put somebody, like, it'd be one thing, like, if, oh, somebody killed my fucking family and they did horrific fucking acts and I had a gun and I just shot him in the fucking face and then that was it. But if I went through some whole thing where I was able to physically, like, torture the shit out of them, that would probably mean that I have some fucking, I probably have some shit buried deep down where I might have some mental fucking problems. You see what I'm saying? To have that capability of doing that to somebody else?
Yeah.
There might be some underlying fucking problems with that individual prior to the fucking incident. You know what I'm saying? Like that, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, it still begs the question, like, whether it's right or wrong. And at that point, like, who really decides, and who should be able to decide? What, like you said, people who are doing those kind of things that Trey just described, or that I even described, even if people don't feel that way, are they really even in the position of power to decide someone's life? You know?
No.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, there are heinous crimes out there. Like, we've witnessed stories, we've heard stories. Sorry, we've seen stories that are so horrific. Like, I mean, especially with the cartel, the way they dismember people and the way they chop people's balls off, put them in their fucking the head that they cut off, and they put them in their mouth, and they post it on fucking Facebook or whatever. Like, those people,
Yeah,
like,
that's
how
evil. That's just evil.
So, like,
Yeah.
you put those people in jail. Like, what does it really even matter? Like, you know, like, why not just kill them? Like, we don't even need those people in society. Even so, the death penalty isn't allowed, and let's say, God forbid, like, the end of the world happens, and, like, these jails just for some reason, like fucking volcano erupts, but, like, half the world still survives, and, like, this prison that has a population of 3,000 to 4,000 people get out, you know, because the world's in chaos. Then you have all these fucking murderers that should have died by the death penalty out on the loose with, you know, like,
some
with a
post-apocalyptic
with
fucking scenario.
and that's the most, like, craziest scenario ever.
Yeah, it's a
but
little
you know what I'm
extreme.
saying? Do you really want, like, those people with, like, 10% of the population? Let's say there's only 10% of the population left, and they're part of that. You really want that?
I mean, no, but that's an extreme case, and I think, you know, still with my first 2 points that I brought up, still, you know, I wouldn't be like, oh, just in case there's an apocalyptic fucking scenario where these people are able to escape, you know. I don't know. If you're really worried about that, you just put a collar on them that, like, well, I'm going to bring up Saw again, that if you, like, go over, like, a certain boundary, you just get shotgun blasted in the face or some shit. I don't know. That's a little extreme, too. I'm trying to think of post-apocalyptic, you know, prison shit now.
It looks like China, Iran, and Saudi Arabia are the top 3 execution countries.
Well, yeah. And how many countries are there? Sorry, I should know this.
Wait, say those 3 again.
China, Iran, and Saudi Arabia.
Because there's only 21 countries that carry out with the death penalty. Out of all the countries, only 21 do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know, man. It's there's no right or wrong answer. I feel like, but like I said, I don't think anyone should have that right over a person. But
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
But
too.
and like you said,
Just-
like innocent people, like before forensics even came out, like there have been people who have been found innocent after they've been killed by the death penalty.
yeah,
Because forensics wasn't a thing yet.
yeah.
So I mean, like that's just crazy to me. Like
Yeah.
that's the worst way to go out.
So I think you're choosing a lesser of like two evils, kind of within that scenario. Maybe that might be the bad metaphor terminology fit
Well,
or whatever. But
on the bright side, these guys on death row, some if you're on good behavior, you get a cat. You can play video games. You can walk the yard a little bit and shit like that, but you get a cat, dude, and you get to play video games. Like, imagine playing Fortnite like the last week you're about to live, and you're just binge Fortnite for like 2 fucking straight weeks, and you're like the best Fortnite player in the world before you die.
do you think that we should also be like taking these people with and like obviously we do study them, but you can't study them if you just fucking kill them too at the same time. So let's say
There's no studying the people on death row, man. There's no way, unless you have like
What? How?
fucking locked up coming in and fucking like videotaping them for 50 days because that's all it takes. But
no, like maybe doing like brain scans, like having them, just trying to maybe figure out some inner workings, or maybe even on a psychological level, like sitting down. And obviously, most of the fucking serial killers and shit had horrible like childhoods and shit. Most people that do really fucking brutal, evil shit tended to have horrible shit happen to them when they were a fucking kid.
they still have a choice though.
They do still have a choice, but there's a study and there's a process in which we figured out that this kind of turns up to be, this is kind of what makes a fucking serial killer. I'm pretty sure, and you might have to look this up, I'm pretty sure 4% of the population are psychopaths, like diagnosable fucking psychopaths, but not all of them fucking kill people. Some they just fucking either like get into business or some shit, but they're very like power fucking oriented. And, it's like I think it's like 4 out of every 100 people.
1%.
Oh, it's 1%. What's the other one besides psychopath?
Sociopath?
Sociopath. Maybe it's 4% sociopath. I don't know, but still, that 1%, that's 1 out of every 100 people. Chances are that means this weekend I fucking waited on a psychopath this weekend. Was I right about that other one?
Yeah, 4%.
4% sociopath.
You're on the
So
money.
that probably means I probably waited on a sociopath at some point in time this fucking weekend. He just hasn't murdered anybody yet.
I saw something crazy on Facebook the other day. I don't know if this is true, but it was like listing off a bunch of different serial killers over the years, and a high percentage of them were Virgos.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's got to be a coincidence. I don't believe in
I don't either,
astrology
but
at all.
It was
But
just kind of a weird coincidence.
You never
I guess.
know.
I don't know.
stay away from them Virgos.
Well, Trump's opinion on this is he is down for the death penalty for drug dealers, like high volume.
Are you
like,
fucking kidding me? Non-violent?
Like the cartel, or like?
Well, like people who are dealing like fucking heroin, methamphetamines, fucking like hardcore drugs. Like I don't think he would kill. I mean, then again, I don't know, but like he's down for the death
Should
penalty.
anybody ever die from a non-violent crime? Name a non-violent crime that you
Bro,
think
but
would warrant a fucking death
Jesse,
penalty.
you already know that fucking drugs kill people. They ruin people's lives. They ruin people's relationships, man. Like
So does fast food. You can
Not
you
to
can die
the-
from fast food over
not
a
to-
long period of
not
time.
to the extent of fucking heroin or fucking or meth, dude. Like that ruins people's lives. They fucking
What?
like scratch their face and shit. And like
So what about gambling that ruins homes? Should we give the death penalty to the casino owners? That the father that goes in there and doesn't have any kind of drug addiction but gambles away his life
Okay,
savings and all of a
so
sudden is out on the street
gambling
and then
is
ruins his family and
Fair enough.
ruins his life
Fair
and
enough.
commits suicide.
But I mean, gambling doesn't alter your mind. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it doesn't.
And-
In a way, it does. But you're still soberly conscious of what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know, you have like you're sober in that state of mind, unless you're drinking or you're high when you're doing it. But for the most part, if you're fucking gambling your house away, I would say most of the time you're sober when you do it, but you're just that much involved in it that's why you would do that. With drugs, it alters your state of mind. You know, so I mean, like if you're, and a lot of drug dealers don't sell it, but what I'm saying is it ruins people's lives, especially the hardcore drugs. I wouldn't consider marijuana a hardcore drug, but I wouldn't even consider it a drug at that point. But you know what I'm saying.
yeah. So just for the big two, heroin and meth, he wants to have the death penalty.
I haven't looked
for.
into it. I don't know to the extent of what drugs he would give the death penalty to. I just know that he's for it. But I know
the DEA wouldn't like that because they need people to get back out and start selling that shit again. That way they can make more arrests and make more money. And once you start killing people that are selling it, then you're going to completely shut down the supply. They're going to need, you can't just ruin that whole, underground system. They need that shit.
Well, it'll always be there. No matter how many people you kill, it'll always be there. You and I both know that.
Yeah. I think we need to kill people who don't return books on time back to the public library.
Yeah, I think what I saw.
I've been waiting for Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice to come to the Cass County Public Library for the past 2 months. I'm going to find that motherfucker. Kill the fuck out of him.
I think I saw a story, man. It was on the news like a couple months ago, but someone finally returned a book from like the 1960s, and they waived the fee because it was so extensive.
It's like 5 cents a week.
Yeah.
I'd have to do the math on
it was
that.
Like, it was like a couple $100 or a couple thousand or something like that.
Yeah, that's still a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think at some point they're just like, you can just keep it.
So you're not for the death penalty?
No, not at all.
Trey?
No, definitely not.
You're not? I think under extreme circumstances, I think yes, but at the same time, I'd probably lean towards no because I don't think any man has another say over another man's life.
I'm with Jesse on this one because I would think it'd be much more of a punishment to have to live your entire life. Like, just put them in a square room, like a 10 foot by 10 foot room, and just keep them there forever.
Yeah.
That's way worse than just dying.
But they still have the opportunity even at that point because you still have very limited interaction with humans. But like, they still
no
have
interaction. How about no interaction?
No, fuck that. You need to put a 60-inch fucking LED HDMI fucking high resolution TV and just play season 1 of the Keeping Up with Kardashians. Just fucking on loop. They will literally find a way to kill themselves.
But at the same time,
you don't even need to.
What I'm saying, like, if you guys watch the show Locked Up, like these people, like they have very minimal rights, right? But at the same time, they still have rights because they're in jail and people want it to be humane. They still have opportunities to throw human feces on officers. There's still a threat to these officers who are doing this job because we incarcerate these people and give them the opportunity to still live, and they're making life havoc for these people. Like I said, I mean, like I would never take someone's life, nor would I ever think that I could. I don't know. But what I'm saying is they still have opportunity.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So no, it'd be interesting to ask somebody who's actually dealing with it firsthand. Somebody of extremely psychotic nature who has no remorse for like a multiple fucking like murder, who has like no respect for anyone else, literally thinks that they're fucking God, should be able to. They can take a life with not an ounce of sympathy or fucking empathy or fucking anything. No, I'd love to, ask that same question to somebody who has to deal with that person one-on-one.
Well, no,
like what they would think.
Imagine if a serial killer, right? And this has probably happened. He's committed a he's killed multiple people, but he only gets charged for one crime. So he doesn't get the death penalty, he gets life. And after 25 years, he gets out. So let's say that happens when he's 18. And he's already killed like 10 to 12 people. And he only gets caught for one. And he gets life in prison, which is 25 years. He gets out, like, you really want that person on the streets?
No, but sadly you're talking about like perfect world kind of shit, and there's always going to be people who fucking get away with a little bit.
But that's what we have to deal with, man.
And then there's always going to be people who get punished for shit that they shouldn't have been punished for.
Yeah.
So it happens on both ends of the spectrum.
It's very true.
And it's just sadly it's just kind of the way of the world when it comes to that.
It's very true.
I actually found a list here of capital punishment for nonviolent offenses for different countries and stuff, and here's just...
Is there any for the U.S.?
Not that I see.
Actually, treason, right?
Well,
so if you do something that puts like the U.S. government in jeopardy, like as far as, like espionage, they can fucking kill the fuck. I forgot about that.
You got...
I didn't even think about that shit. Adultery,
blasphemy, corruption, drug trafficking, espionage, fraud, homosexuality, perjury, prostitution, witchcraft is still a thing, and that's in
what?
Central Africa.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking like U.S. for a fucking second.
And then you're right, theft, treason, and then zoophilia, whatever that is.
Zoophilia? What is that?
Isn't
Does
that
it say what it is?
That's like got to be like some kind of sexual act.
Zoophilia in the law looks as the laws governing humans performing sex acts with non-human animals. Yep.
Oh, God. Non-human animals?
So bestiality. Why the fuck didn't they just call it bestiality?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yep, but that's it.
It's called zoophilia?
Yeah, zoophilia.
Zoophilia?
Z-O-O-philia. Yep.
Oh, zoo. Animals.
Yeah.
There you go.
But treason, has the biggest list for capital punishment for non...
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Almost every country.
If you're putting a whole country at stake for some fucking information so another country could come in and, invade you, okay.
But
I can see them being like, yeah, we're gonna kill the fuck out of you for that.
okay. It doesn't state the United States. It just actually shows the states that will do that within the United States.
Hey, did Batman ever kill anybody?
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
We talked about that in the last podcast too.
lots of people, lots and lots and lots of people.
Yeah, he breaks necks, boy.
Blah.
So, fuck the death penalty. You know, it is what it is.
You know, it's. I was thinking about this earlier. What's hilarious? Aren't a lot of like Christian religious people like for the death penalty?
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, that's a Republican thing.
right,
That's for
and
sure.
all sins are equal, correct?
All sins.
All sins are equal, correct?
according
yeah,
to the
yeah,
Christians.
yeah. That's what they say. Like if you even sin just a little bit, it's like we're all sinners. We're all going to hell, basically.
Right.
So everybody's going to hell.
So who it doesn't matter. Whoever's putting who's ever pushing the button to start the lethal injection, they're killing somebody. Basically.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they're a murderer too,
Yeah.
by definition.
God also fucking nuked 2 fucking cities in the fucking Old Testament because those
Bro.
people were chugging dicks.
God does.
They
what
were
he
on
wants.
their knees chugging dicks all day, and
He
God's like, I'm not okay with all this dick chugging that's happening in these fucking cities. Nukes the fuck out of them.
God does what he wants, though.
Oh, do not want to get into religion right now.
Okay,
Me
so
neither. What's next?
What's next?
we're gonna have welfare, man. Welfare. As of 2012, 35% of all Americans were on some sort of welfare.
35%.
110 million people in the United States, and this was 2012, so it's probably increased since then. Were on some sort of welfare.
That was second term or first term. The end of Obama's first term,
Correct, yeah.
basically, is whenever. Jesus Christ, 35. So now, whenever you're saying some kind of welfare, it could be as simple as you get $50 or like $100 a month for food stamps.
So the average was it would be $400 per person a month is what it equals out to be for whoever was on that form of welfare. But you have Medicaid, you have food stamps, you have I think they even considered like giving grants for college some sort of welfare. So I mean that's all.
That shouldn't be an.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, like that's probably like 110. Okay, so here
That's
it was so of the 110 million, 46.5 million people, 46.5 million of those people were on food stamps. So that's over half.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's a huge indicator that your society is not doing well.
Right.
That means something is detrimentally wrong somewhere along the line of something of industry and fucking. I know it's very complex with that whole thing, but something's detrimentally wrong with your system if that many people are in need of fucking help and shit.
They're not necessarily in need. It's just people know how to work the system.
Oh yeah. So Trey, if you wouldn't mind looking up, look up this chick. Her name's Queen. Just look up Queen Linda Taylor.
Of
And
course,
then-
of course, her name is Queen.
well, it's not Queen, but that's what they called her, Queen Linda Taylor. This chick fucking knew how to fuck. She got actually. I think she eventually got arrested for like knowing how to beat the system when it comes to welfare.
Was this girl that got interviewed and she was like, yeah, I fucking go to restaurants all the time and I don't fucking
Probably.
and she's like, I don't care, I don't know why I'd ever
No.
work a day in my life
Well-
because I can get all this for free.
That lady probably got her information from Queen Linda Taylor because this is the very first person who started fucking beating the system when it came to welfare.
What do you want to know about her?
Just break it down just like a little bit of her. Like just describe her. When it comes to welfare, this chick right here, she knew how to beat the system. She got arrested for fraud of welfare. Is what happened.
This is my own thing though, is I don't think you can. I know this is like an opinion kind of thing, but I'd like to think this is kind of just a humanity thing that we are kind of designed because we are such social creatures that we need to feel like we're contributing to the whole thing in some way, whether or not it's going to work or you go out into a field and you plow some shit and you feel good about yourself afterwards. It fucking releases some endorphins. Even if you don't like your job, at least you're going and you're doing something and you feel like you've put in some shit. Even if it's on like a fucking minimal level, you still I'm not like I can't just fucking lay around and not fucking work, so I'll end up feeling like a lazy piece of shit. And like and
There's some
fucking hate myself.
people. Some people get off on not having to do shit.
On literally not doing anything and
Yeah.
just being and just oh man, I could not do that.
Okay, Paul. It says her criminal activities are believed to extended beyond welfare fraud.
Child abduction.
It
was
may
one
have
of them.
included assault, theft, insurance fraud, bigamy, abduction, sale of children, and possibly murder.
Oh fuck that cunt.
And she went to jail for 3 to 7 years.
She was fucking with kids, abducting kids, and only got 3 to 7.
says
All
may,
that?
It may. That
Oh,
may.
okay.
Well,
so that's
we-
just
It was never
out.
proved.
If you have kids, you get more money for welfare. Like that's how like she knew the system, man. Like the more kids you have, the more welfare you get, dude. Like I grew up poor and shit, so like my mom, she would get like WIC and she got food stamps. So like I was that kid. Like whenever I went to high school, I was like, man, if I saw someone in high school and we were like in the line at Price Chopper, and like if my mom pulled her card out and I was like, fuck, like she has food stamps. Like I don't want him to see that card, you know, like. So I mean, I know what it's like to live with food stamps and how it does help.
Mhm.
You know.
Do you think that
Oh,
other kids
everybody
even-
should eat. You should never like take away food
Do
or
you
not
think-
allow somebody the option.
Do you think that other kids would even know what that was? What that even
No.
looked like as a card? Because
No.
they would have no idea because
Well,
they've never lived. You know what I mean?
You know how
they've
cruel
never-
kids are, especially like
Oh, I
like
know.
7th, 8th, and 9th grade. So like if like they knew you were on food stamps, they'd make fun of you. and
But
shit
I'm
like that.
guessing-
I had free school lunch, you know, when I went
Yeah.
to school.
I'm guessing if they knew what that was like, then their parents were on food stamps as well.
That's very
or,
true.
Or they know somebody that what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's
A close friend.
that's horrible to get. And kids are just like little pieces of shit.
Oh,
like
yeah, they're assholes.
like from fucking like 10 to fucking 17. The majority of them, not fucking all of them. This we live in a country with so many fucking resources and shit. I know this isn't exactly what you were talking about. Nobody should ever fucking go without food. That's ridiculous. We're living like the fattest fucking time in human history where we have so much food and just like abundance of shit. Like we work at a restaurant, we see how much food just gets like thrown away and shit. There is no reason why anyone in the United States should ever fucking be hungry. I don't agree with that, you know, or just, you know. So I'm all for food stamps and shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like people take advantage of food stamps because they give people the opportunity to like cash out your food stamps for like money. Like you
Yeah,
can go to
no-
like an ATM and like get money for it, which makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and no, that's fucking stupid. You shouldn't be able to go fucking like get a bottle of fucking liquor with your, you know, Missouri fucking Access fucking card or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, no,
Listen
I
to
don't agree
this.
with that at all.
This is insane. 1.3 billion tons of food gets wasted per year, and
Yeah.
that's around $680 billion worth of.
That's
food.
insane.
Yeah, that's just. Is that worldwide or just the United
Worldwide,
States?
and just the United States is $310 billion.
Yeah.
It's almost half.
That's no, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that should change too. That's
I
such
mean,
a horrible waste. But
The only reason I don't even know if food stamp like welfare comes into it poses the question of what are you doing, right? Like what are you doing with your life to where you need to have access to welfare? And I understand that people have circumstances where they need it, but at the same time, like I grew up in a poor family, and I've overcome that, and I've grown into like this adult who is, you know, providing for my family, but. Like what is necessary about that? Like why have you failed, and maybe not failed at life, but what has gotten you to the point
I'll
where
give you an
you
example.
where you need assistance? Like what
So my dad, he has a friend that I think used to make, I don't know, somewhere over $200,000 a year, and he's on welfare now. Like his foot's fucked up. Like he lost his job and stuff. Like something happened, like medically. I'm not sure what.
yeah,
And so he won't go get another job because if he thinks if he gets another job, one, he's never going to make the amount of money that he was used to making, and two, if he does go and get a job, he's going to lose all of the money that he's getting. So he's scared to go do it.
well, disability is different though. I feel like if you have a
It's
legitimate
it's not true. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily true disability. It's disability put on yourself because you're not doing anything to further yourself or make yourself better. You know what I mean?
So basically, he's become acclimated. He's acclimated. He's like, all this has happened, and he's scared to take the risk because he's comfortable here.
it's too easy for
He's
people to get on welfare.
He's
Yeah, so he's
comfortable.
become comfortable, and he doesn't want to take any risk of possibly even having less than what he has right now.
Right. Because he
Kind of
knows
thing.
that no matter what he does, he's never going to be back to where he was when he was in his prime. You know what I mean? If
And
that makes
that's
sense.
not necessarily true either. I think any human being has the capability of overcoming something like that, and he could even have more than that if he put in the time and effort, and then he just has to redevelop himself.
Right.
But
That's just
Yeah.
an example, I think, of
Yeah.
what some people's
Okay.
mindsets are that have issues like that, you know, that are on welfare. They're like, oh, well, if I do this, then I'm going to lose all this.
and so that's a problem within itself, is because now you're kind of caging people, and you're not allowing them to reach any kind of potential.
Right.
By just giving them that, as opposed to, because the number one thing that develops anybody is they have to go through some struggle, or they have to overcome some kind of adversity. You know, when your back's put into a fucking corner and you don't know where your next fucking paycheck's gonna come from, you better fucking all of a sudden you start hustling. You know, now you're like, all right, now I gotta fucking do it. I'm gonna fucking turn it on.
You don't even have to hustle at that point. It's like, go find a job. Like,
What I meant by hustle is work hard.
Yeah.
I didn't mean like hit the streets.
right, selling crack cocaine
Yeah,
and shit.
I did not mean that.
Right.
Whenever
taking
I
it
said
in the
hustle.
booty hole or something like that.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
I got you.
Yeah.
There's opportunity, man, especially in America when we're the biggest welfare state in probably the whole world.
Mhm.
When there's so much opportunity and people, that's just what frustrates me about it. I understand, like, it's good for people who are like on Medicaid, like for single moms and shit like that.
Mhm.
You know, like I understand. Like someone who's about to have a baby and their baby daddy left, and let's say he made majority of the money and the woman was at home and she just wasn't working because this dude was like providing for her. All of a sudden he's gone. Like, I understand that. Like, she needs help, some sort of help. Like, something needs to be done. But out of reach of that, like, who else needs it? Like, I mean, the seniors, people who are elderly, like,
Yeah.
they need some sort of help.
So what you're talking about is refining the system and making it better.
Of course,
and
yeah.
not, do you think people should be drug tested to keep their welfare?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I
think,
do too.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? You
I
get
do
drug
too.
tested at any normal job, really, besides working at a restaurant.
Yeah, no, I totally. I think you should be fucking drug tested. Like, because if you're this, you're now this negative thing to society, to where you are, you know, taking hardworking people's fucking money, and all you're doing is using it for drugs, which you're probably not in a good mental state. And I understand they probably have a whole shit ton of problems that they need to get worked out, but that cannot be used to help enable them to keep on those fucking bad habits. I'm sorry, if you're on welfare, you got to get your shit together. You need to quit fucking doing whatever you're doing. Fucking focus on yourself, develop yourself, open up a book, read a book, like listen to a lecture, turn on some Tony Robbins, get excited about life, you know, and go out there and, you know, and start doing some shit.
Yeah, I think
so yeah, I agree with that.
if there was some sort of time limit on it, you know, if you're going to collect some sort of disability, and like in Trey's case, his story, like if this dude's still able to work, like give him a time limit. Don't let him just like continuously suck on the system like a leech. Like, hey man, you got a year, we're going to get you this amount of money, you know. After that, like, you're done, man. Like, you have to contribute to society.
You've got to start doing something. And yeah.
I can't find the percentage on this, but I'd like to know what percentage of people on welfare have multiple children.
No, it's probably a large amount.
Yeah,
I would say
guarantee
probably
it's going to be a large amount.
The mass majority of people.
This is why I know we've talked about this on a fucking podcast before. I don't remember exactly which one, but I think we need to pay people for not having fucking kids. I think all forms of contraception should be fucking free to the fucking public, and every year you don't have a fucking kid, the government fucking cuts you a check. And like, hey man, thanks for not fucking adding to the population to being responsible. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Keep
but-
on doing what you're doing. Develop a little more.
and whenever you have a kid, your mind will change on that dramatically, because you contribute to the diaper foundation majorly.
Yeah.
So like, let's make some fucking diapers. And what would we call it?
Make some diapers.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think diapers should be fucking cheaper? Maybe if they, how much do you spend on diapers?
Sam's Club's pretty cheap, man. They have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and I think 5 or 6. But my daughter, she's in size 4 now, so for 210 diapers, I pay $40. She goes through that in like 2 weeks. So I'm
2
like,
weeks?
2 to 2.5 weeks, yeah.
That's not horrible.
So $80 a month, basically.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
That's not bad. It's not
But as
bad.
she gets bigger, she pees and poops more. So it'll be
Yeah.
increasing here shortly.
I know it's completely off topic, but I never understood those people who have those like reusable diapers. Like, what the fuck how do you clean those?
I'm sure it works.
You just
wash
throw
them,
in the
dude.
washer, like the washing machine.
I'm sure you just take
You
the
just
shit.
throw shit, so I can just go take a dump in my washing machine, turn it on, and it'll be fine.
No, you
I can
probably
run it.
You probably
I don't get it.
You take the dump, bro. You probably like take the diaper and you probably just like, scrape away the shit. And you just wipe. Well, they actually have a service now to where you can buy these reusable diapers, and people will come pick it up and give you some more reusable diapers. And it's like
Just
Walker linen. Like they
Yeah.
just exchange you. You get 10 diapers a week, and they come and pick it up, and you get 10 new diapers. Sorry.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's disgusting.
It's like the Schwan. It's like the Schwan man.
Basically, yeah.
But for shit diapers. I need to quit saying company names because they're never going to give us any money.
So I think like
No name brands.
when it comes to welfare, I think certain people should Dude, fuck Schwan, man. I don't think I've seen a Schwan truck in a minute.
I haven't either. Well, for sure not on my street. We can't afford that shit.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually have trucks anymore. I think they just go door to door, and then they just deliver it straight to your house through some sort of
Is it better than Hungry Man though?
delivery.
I have never had
service.
anything from Schwan or
Yeah, I don't
Swan,
know.
whatever
I have
it is.
no idea either.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, they're probably done.
Probably well, Amazon probably fucking absorbed them,
Yeah.
or either that or Putin. Well, Amazon or Putin absorbed that company. I guarantee.
Can you buy frozen meat off of Amazon?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't
Probably.
think
That
you
wouldn't
can.
surprise me at all.
I don't think you can.
I'm sure I could buy half
How
a
the
cow.
fuck did we get off on this topic? What were we talking about?
That was all you, Jesse.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That's my fault. I can't even remember what the fuck we were initially talking about.
We were talking about diapers.
Oh no, we were talking about welfare.
Oh yeah, welfare. Yep.
Yeah. What's up with welfare?
We had a conversation with this at my last workplace, and this guy was saying that like some of the most intelligent people in the world have like talked about this like rigorously, and there's just nobody can come up with anything that they think will actually work. They've thought about like work camps to like get people motivated to like get jobs and stuff. They've thought about limiting the amount of children you can have, like in China,
Yeah.
or, like they used to do. They just don't see any of these things actually working, and it just seems like it's going to cause more problems. So, what can you do besides just basically start decreasing the population? However you're going to do that.
I think the best way, and this would be my one partial answer that I could come up with as far as welfare and getting people back on track, is you have to focus on the individual and empowering the individual and educating them. So this comes back down to my whole fucking education thing that I'm so fucking big on, is making sure our schools are legit as fuck, teachers are fucking legit as fuck, and students are able to learn shit, expand their fucking mind, critically think, fucking develop themselves, because that gives you fucking passion for shit, not to where you're down on yourself and you're like, oh, I grew up fucking stupid in a shit school, I'm never gonna get a fucking good job, so why should I fucking try?
But
now I'm just gonna sit around and then fucking eat up fucking welfare money. So my thing is, let's
Sure.
fucking empower some fucking people through fucking education. That's what I fucking say.
But yeah,
That's-
you and I both know that that's not happening, and I don't know who you can thank for that. Maybe George Bush for the No Child Left Behind.
Yeah, he was the start of it for sure. That we started really going downhill.
But it's
after
not. It's not getting better either.
No,
It's
no,
the
it's-
problem. It's getting worse and worse and worse.
It is getting a lot
It's going
worse.
to take a massive, massive reform for anything to get better when it comes to. Well, the United States is already very, very, very behind every other country.
that.
China.
Oh, massively, absolutely
Huge.
massively. Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's I know it's just the state of things aren't looking good when it comes to that. So it's only going to get worse, right? Except for I guess there's more jobs and shit. But
Well, and I can tell
Yeah.
you firsthand, after going to college, I could have just rented the books myself and learned just as much as I did. There's one professor I had that actually knew what he was talking about, I think. Other than that, I could literally just go online, watch YouTube videos, and have the same amount of knowledge that I do now.
Well, education reforms, and I mean that's completely different, but that's the route we're heading though, because it's so bad now. I mean, it truly is.
so do you agree with me that they are interconnected in some
yeah,
way?
100%.
Okay.
Nobody
Education and welfare. Yeah.
There is no original thought in anything now. Nothing. There's no original thought in anything. Even in the movie world, there's no original thought. It's all stolen ideas and regurgitated ideas for the most part. I'm not
that's
saying
true.
all.
I mean, yeah, that's happened for a while. But I mean, so what you're saying is there's no new ideas that we can implement, and it's just kind of this dismal fucking pit that
what
we're
you
just
said,
headed down.
We don't know how to critically think,
Yeah.
really, when
Yeah.
it comes down to it, because nobody has conversations about the world like we're having right now.
Yeah.
People just go through their day every day and just stay in their little hole and just talk about what they know with people that know the same shit that they know.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't disagree and they don't argue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that needs to change. And honestly, it probably just comes down to the individual too. Like, because there are so many people who were like born in horrible fucking scenarios of poor families that like everybody in their families never went to college. All of them fucking went to jail, but they decided, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to fucking go out and fucking make something of myself. I'm sure there's a shit ton of stories of like self-made millionaires who've come from horrible backgrounds too.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not saying that that's the complete answer for everything. There's always going to be some shit, but I think it starts with education and shit. But
we have it so good, and we do.
yeah,
where
do.
we live
Mhm.
right now. I mean,
even in comparison, even to the people who have it shitty in the United States, look like 500 years ago how fucking life was like, and they have it really
Yeah.
fucking good in comparison too. Which not to
What do you mean by that?
like just like the separation of the wealthy from the poor and like destitute people. Like there was no welfare like fucking 500 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
like
sure.
you would just fucking go hungry.
Yeah.
Kind of fucking thing. So we're still, even the people in the worst scenario in the United States are still way, way, way fucking better than the people who were in a bad state, like 500 fucking years ago, which probably even like 200 fucking years ago or whatever. So yeah. So I don't know. Have things gotten better but worse is what I'm getting at? I don't fucking know.
Well, the welfare states, it's truly very bad. It just encourages people to be lazy for the most part,
Mhm.
and that's
I do agree with that.
That's the only way to
And-
really look at it.
And honestly, that's probably what the government wants anyway.
Oh, yeah.
The government doesn't want you to break out and start creating your own fucking thing and having new revolutionary fucking ideas that go against the grain, which is what all the top. This might be a little conspiracy theory-esque what I'm about to say, but like the top like 1%, this is probably exactly what they want. Is everything to just be this like status quo? This is exactly what it should be. We need a lower class. We'll give them just enough to where they won't fucking revolt or anything, just enough to where they stay uneducated, just enough to where they keep fueling the system that allows us to be in power that we want to fucking be in. So you know what I'm saying? I know it's real conspiracy theory ish of me to fucking say that, but that's
yeah,
that's probably what the 1%
we got to
want.
do something, man, because I don't think America can sustain. I mean, maybe it can, but we're at like $20 trillion in debt, and I'm sure that welfare contributes a little bit to that, or maybe a lot of it. But we really are at a breaking point, man, where something has to change, and people being lazy is probably the first step to building a better country. And people being on welfare, that doesn't help us be in a better country.
Yeah.
Whether I think the three stipulations: if you are truly disabled, you're a single mother, or you're an elderly. I think other than those three things, like what constitutes you to have any sort of welfare?
So basically, if you have a healthy mind, and you have a healthy body, and you don't have a kid to look out for to make sure that they come up in a good household, you should be doing something.
If you're
to
that person, you have access to
society.
any fucking job in the United States. You have access to any job. You have any ability to do any job in the United States if you're what you just described.
Right? Because if somebody else has done it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Because we're not so different than anybody. It's just they put in more time, they put in more effort,
Right.
They had more drive. You can do the same shit.
Yeah. And when
Like
I
we
say
have the same 24 hours in the day as
Yeah.
everybody else, right?
And when I say truly disabled, I mean like people that have like mental illnesses. Like, of course, I count that too.
Yeah, that's why I said healthy mind too.
Yeah.
I was like, and not to say that they have an unhealthy mind. I just don't want to sound bad
Yeah.
about that either. But
okay, so really, welfare doesn't really contribute that much to our national debt. About $1.1 billion is what it's saying. Well,
that's got to be annually.
wrong. $1.1 trillion.
Okay.
Okay. I was gonna say because there's a lot of Section 8 housing too. So
It just had it had it written as 1,137 billion, which would be 1.1 trillion. Which still is not. That's only.
per year, that's quite a bit though. I mean
That's less than. That's about 5% of
No, that's got to be the total. That has to be the total debt.
national debt.
Yeah, the total national debt.
total national debt right now.
It's like 22 trillion.
Yeah.
This is what confuses me about debt real quick. That doesn't make any sense. Whenever you come up to that level of money is fucking, you're talking about a nation's national fucking debt compared to other nations, like what you owe other nations, right?
Right.
So what the fuck? You're just literally talking about numbers, like
And-
numbers in a fucking computer system that other
Exactly.
countries have numbers.
Yeah.
And then that idea of debt at such a high level is so confusing to me.
It's
Like how-
economics, dude. It's so fucked up. But that's the thing that a lot of very intelligent economists wonder. They're like,
like
are we-
why?
oh, well, first
Like,
of
you just get
all,
rid of the numbers, right?
first of all, why? Second of all, it's like, are we so far that it doesn't even matter now? Like we could just keep. I mean, it doesn't matter really. We if we formed an agreement with China, like, hey, let's just
Yeah, call it good.
Clean slate. Then
Because-
that goes over half of our debt right
yeah,
there.
So that's what I'm saying. If it's just like some calculated number of exchanging resources or whatever, we still have the resources. People are still living and shit. Like that high level of fucking upper national fucking debt is so fucking confusing to me.
Yeah,
Like-
it's so confusing because it doesn't make sense.
No, it
It's
doesn't. It doesn't make
It's
sense.
economics. It doesn't make sense. But I think the thought process around it is if we do that, it will turn the global economy spiraling into just not knowing what the fuck is going on.
What if everybody just got rid of everybody else's debt? Well, no, because they wouldn't want to do that because they'd be like, oh, but they
No.
owed me more than what I
But
fucking
listen,
owed them. Right?
Here's
Is that what
here's-
it come down to?
Here's why we don't do that. Even with the debt that we have, the United States, we're still
$64,000 per person, by the
We're-
way, per citizen.
Fuck.
we're still the world power. We're still number one.
That's what we think, though. It's not what we truly
We
know.
are. If we were to do a global reset, we'd be even. We'd be pretty much even with everybody else. In theory, everybody's debt free. So then what happens then? Like, could China just massively take over really fast, and then
But it's just a number, though. Like you
Well, I know
literally
it's
just.
just a number, but
And maybe it trickles down, and you have to maintain that the way all the other. But it stems from this like fake fucking like literally just a number on a fucking computer that other countries saying
Well-
that they fucking owe each other.
right, and people start.
And that would collapse society, getting rid of that fake fucking number.
Yeah.
You have to have it, though. There's no other way to live life.
It's so weird, man.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
global leaders and stuff would start freaking out, and they'd start killing themselves and start killing people and doing stupid shit and dropping nukes and stuff, and then that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Over
Hey.
the number that doesn't.
World War III.
By the way, you can buy steak on Amazon. You can buy 10 8-ounce sirloin or New York strip steaks for like $74.
The shipping on that's got to be a bitch because it takes some special.
Amazon
fucking-
Prime, baby.
Was thinking come in on a drone or some
Amazon
shit?
Prime, bitch.
Fucking fillet gets caught in one of the fucking one of the fans on that bitch, never makes it. Some poor child riding his bike on the street gets hit at the Kansas City Strip off a drone.
The delivery guy gets attacked by a wild cougar
Something,
on the way to
yeah.
the door.
The delivery of meats, any perishable food that needs to be kept cold
All
sketches me out.
Paul, what do we got next?
We got borders versus no borders, man.
Oh fuck, man.
Well,
Yeah.
that can kind of be a transition off of the welfare thing, sort of, right?
Well, yeah, because we're gonna start talking about it right now.
Well, the amount of
A good transition.
Yeah, that was the best segue we've had on Talk Jockeys. Well, we're gonna start talking about this now.
Well, Jesse, earlier you said that people on welfare are taken away from like hardworking citizens and stuff. So if there's illegal aliens and stuff working, not paying taxes and stuff, then that's basically the same thing.
Well, they can collect welfare too, but I mean, I don't think that really, regardless if illegal immigrants are here or not, and they are collecting some sort of welfare, I don't think it really takes away from people who actually live
How the
here.
fuck can you be in the United States and collect welfare but not be a fucking
Yeah,
citizen?
that doesn't make sense. But they still
Well,
get cut
it
checks.
happens.
They still get cut checks unless you're talking about paying them cash under the table. Is the only thing.
I mean, I don't know. Somehow they do it. I'm not an illegal alien.
No, it does happen.
It does happen. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that when it comes to borders versus no borders, I don't think them collecting welfare really affects that aspect. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Borders versus no borders. I don't think like them collecting welfare is a big issue why we shouldn't have borders, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, here's a thought. Even if we didn't have borders, we would still have an imaginary border. We'd still have military watching where Mexico and the United States meet. And if there's like 1,000 people,
At first, yes, but eventually over time, you would eventually like the new world order. They eventually, if
So
that
you're talking about like the North American Union kind of shit, to where it's no longer the U.S., it's no longer Canada, it's no longer
Right.
Mexico, it's just the North American Union. And
Right.
they come up and they even talked about the fucking currency.
right.
That what was it? I'm trying to the Americano or something.
So like,
The Americano was supposed to be the currency of the North American Union. They were talking about that like fucking 15 years ago.
oh yeah.
The fucking that shit.
It was. I know what you're talking about. I forget what it's called, but so just to put it in perspective, though, like how it's such a controversial debate right now. But I guess like we were established in the late 1700s, but the all of the 1800s and 1900s, basically, any reports you look at, there were technically no borders in the United States. Like if you were an immigrant and you came from Europe or wherever you came from, like they let you in, like early, like all 1800s and 1900s, like the same situation we're having now with Mexico. that wasn't an issue then. They literally let these people pour in and just fucking be a part of what it was.
Because there was no way for them to regulate it, like how you can regulate it a little bit better now, you know, with technology and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you could forge some fucking old school, you know, 1700, 1800 fucking document, I'm sure, fairly easy. Like, it wasn't, you know.
But they didn't.
But
They could. There was.
you're just
always,
saying they just allowed it.
there's always a way for them to control something or not control something, you know. And granted, it wasn't 350 million people back then, but still, they let people freely in.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I just read something that said every president since Reagan has deployed troops to the border at some point during their presidency
Like, deployed troops to protect the border?
to monitor and just general protection and general overseeing and all of those type of activities that you would do.
Not just like, but not just out of the traditional, like, border patrol that they have there. They initiated some other,
Yeah, some actual
some other branch of the military
Yeah.
to go and be like, hey, yo, let's, you know, do some military stuff. Yeah. So basically, what you were trying to get at is we need to have more of like the more unified kind of shit to where anybody should be able to go anywhere kind of fucking thing, but live within the stipulations of that country, and nobody should really be.
I'm just saying that's how it was in the 1900s.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't really know if I'm really well or informed enough to really make a decision on whether or not we should have borders or not.
Mhm.
I mean, in retrospect, or even in the way that I think, is it really necessary? Like, what's the point in even having borders? You know,
At that point.
I mean, at any point. I mean, like this, who created borders, right? Like, who made the line and said, hey, this is what this is, and like, this is our country, and you can't come here. Like, what law governs someone saying, like, you can't come over here? Obviously, the United States law or the Mexican or whatever country it is, they make those laws, but still, like, we live here for 80 years. Like, who the fuck cares? I guess that's kind of how I look at it, but
I guess it all depends on whether or not it's, you know, if the whole thing is you have to, like, if you want to be somewhere, like, you want to come into the United States and like live under, you know, United States law and be a citizen, there's nothing wrong with that, but you shouldn't have to go through like a process, you know, to be able to get there. Obviously, like, you know, background check and stuff like that. Like criminals, I don't just think criminals should be able to, you know, come over here, you know, willy-nilly per se.
criminals still come over here. They
No, I know.
illegally come over here.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the difference, you know?
I know.
You could tax them by doing it. I mean, I
But-
don't even know at that point, but
At the same time, like, I like this idea of this freedom that people can have and just, oh, you know, we should be this more unified thing, but that's also very scary because the more unified it becomes, the more, I think, corruptible it also becomes too at the same time. I don't, this is difficult. This is a difficult one for me to get into.
if you're rich, you can go wherever you want. If you're rich,
That's
you
true.
can live wherever you want.
I
Sure.
think it might have a little something to do with the Mexican cartel and the massive drug, whatever they have going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could potentially play into why they don't just want anybody coming back and forth.
They're already doing it though, so I mean,
Well,
no one's
But
successful
sort
at
of.
combating
they're
it.
they're trying to prevent that.
Right.
and they're
is going on.
unsuccessful, and they have been for over 40 to 50 years.
Well, that's because I think if we did start a war, it would not be really a war. I don't know. You're right. Like there has to, we must be benefiting from it somehow, or else we would just end it.
If they really wanted to get rid of the fucking cartel and
They
fucking
would.
and all underground fucking shit, they would just legalize the fucking drug, and then fucking make it themselves, and it'd be fucking made
Worthless.
here
It
in
would
America.
be
Fucking,
made. It'd be.
and then you drop the price, and then you literally destroy the cartel. If they really wanted to fucking get rid of the cartel, that's what you fucking do.
Yeah.
You legalize it, you take away their fucking money.
Oh yeah.
Anytime there's a black market, there's going to be fucking violent shit like that. And if that's the reasoning for preventing, you know, people coming over and them being strict, like there's a smarter way to go about like fixing that problem. But obviously, a lot of people would be upset if you could just go down to the 7-Eleven and get an 8-ball of fucking cocaine, you know,
Be dope, though.
and then fucking hit the courts.
What you probably can in Grandview or something.
Actually, yeah, you're right. That's the first place you go to whenever you want it. I'm talking about on the shelf though.
I think some things to think about whenever you do like borders though is culture, man. Like I think culture is the biggest thing. Like if you don't have borders, you don't have culture. I mean, at least the culture we have now, or what America's built up since, you know, the late 1700s, like that's gone,
What are you
and
talking
it's slowly
about?
disappearing. Like
That's what the Democrats want. They want us to speak Spanish like regularly and to just invite everybody over here.
Right.
Culture's up to us. It's not like you have Latinos.
But I'm saying if you
coming
had-
over the border and then all of a sudden, they're celebrating 4th of July wearing white beards and 10-gallon fucking hats, saying 7 years ago, and just completely they're bringing their culture over here too.
That's what I'm saying.
But culture develops. Culture is going to develop and adapt and evolve just like
Well, I know, but-
anything else. Just
but,
like
like,
a language
have we-
changes and everything changes.
What I'm saying though is we've enjoyed our culture the way it's been with borders, and if borders truly work the way it's supposed to, and people came over legally like they were supposed to, as opposed to illegally. Let's say like the borders, like if Trump built a wall and it worked perfectly, and no one came over illegally, and everyone came in the way they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Like our culture would stay the same for a period of time until that border no longer existed. And at that point, if people started coming over that border and like the way they do now illegally, and there's 40 million illegal immigrants, like you said, it slowly changes the culture. Without them, yes, our culture would change over time, but it would be the way we want it to be, not as opposed to the way like other people coming into our country.
I guess you would have to talk about what is we or down to the individual of maybe being, like maybe some frightened about I might have to learn a couple words of another language that way I can interact with these other people. Like there's still
No,
still
I'm not
human
talking
beings.
about language, man.
But who is
Just
we
what is-
anymore? Who is
I'm
we?
just so what's the fear of the change of the culture? Like they're not gonna get rid
America, fuck yeah, guns.
of baseball.
Yeah.
Like that'll be there as long as we we
None of
we
us
enjoy
are
it.
like that though. I don't even. I know like 2 people that are like that.
I'm not worried about all of a sudden like baseball and hot dogs and fucking
4th of July.
and apple pie is
titties
not
and
gonna
NASCAR.
be is
So you-
that'll be a thing as long as people
so-
enjoy it.
Check it out though. If the borders were to open, you're telling me NASCAR would still exist in over 100 years from now? The way that
God, I
it
hope not. I hope it's gone tomorrow, man.
Who the fuck do you know that watches NASCAR?
Fuck NASCAR.
That's all I'm saying, though,
That-
man. It
that's-
would change
that's a
the
bad
culture,
example.
but there are a lot of people that enjoy NASCAR.
But nothing is here to stay. Nothing is here to stay. We live in a very finite fucking world. Everything is gonna go away. Like nothing. Like 1,000 years from now, they're probably gonna be like they might think baseball is like something fucking stupid. They're doing other shit. Like everything, even if nothing else changes, and it's just the people that were in America having kids, nobody else from other countries came in. All that stuff can still go away eventually at one point too. We shouldn't be afraid of mixing of cultures or anything like that. Like,
But I'm
it's
saying
not-
what I'm saying though is borders versus no borders. Culture will change if you have open borders. It will. There's no way around it.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
So
True
what I'm-
statement, Paul.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like, do we enjoy the culture we have now? And that's just
I love the culture that we have now.
Yeah.
I like that it's changing. I mean, even you want to talk about something? There is nothing more American than fucking baseball. There's more fucking Cubans and
yeah, for sure.
and playing that bring their own fucking culture. There's nothing like America, but they play the game of baseball. So it's just
Okay, so what about maybe lower wages for people in the United States? If there were open borders, do you think wages would be affected at all?
everything affects everything else. So whether or not it would, I don't think you could lower wages. If anything, what would happen would be maybe the decrease in the overall value of the U.S. dollar, possibly. Like if we were to somehow integrate, like if we were to annex fucking Mexico, that would probably negatively affect. I don't know the U.S. Maybe I don't even know if it would negative. I'm just assuming because the peso is a lot less than the U.S. dollar, and then if you were to combine the average the value of the peso and the U.S. dollar into one currency, I'm assuming that they would average out and kind of balance out somewhere in the center to where it wouldn't. I don't know. That's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm kind of just talking out of my ass right now with that.
That's a very tough hypothetical for sure.
Yeah.
So then I guess another aspect, like, and Trey already brought it up, is safety and security. I think that if there were open borders, that definitely affects people in the United States.
Oh yeah.
Because you have open borders, man. Then at that point, it's free for all, man. Like at that point, I'm going to Canada, or I'm going as far north as I can.
No.
Yes.
I don't think that would happen.
Dude, everyone and their fucking mom would want to move to the United States.
I think what would happen is the first thing that would happen there would be a civil war within.
Oh,
United
for sure.
States
That would be the first
first.
thing that happens, yeah.
And you'd have these country boys. They're like, "Fuck this," and they would band of brothers. Let's go start our own border patrol. And they would just be taking them out, kind of like Inglourious Bastards with the Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying. It'd be crazy. It would be scary to have children at that point in time.
I don't think open borders will ever be a thing. Not within our lifetime, to where all of a sudden they just open up like the border to Mexico, and they're just like, okay, now it's like going into Kansas. You could just drive into it and then drive back. Because first of all, Mexico would have to be okay with that too.
Which you basically can do that already. So
Yeah, but
It's true.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting concept. Like, my take is just like it's just weird that there are even borders, like I just mentioned earlier, because like what man has control over a line.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess over time it just fucking happens, man. Like, do you think in ancient civilizations, like a lot of the pyramids, like whether it be in South America and Egypt, like they came around along the same time?
Yeah.
Like, do you think they had borders like in Egypt whenever they built the pyramids? No, it's just like I conquered you and like you're my bitch kind of thing. Like,
It was mainly like tribal, to where like there's some tribes you don't want to fucking be around. Like even like Native Americans, like they're you don't want to see another fucking tribe that normally hangs out over here because they'll fucking kill the fuck out of you, kind of fucking thing.
so
Because of shit.
at that point we're like dogs, like we're territorial. So it's like, will we ever like advance as a civilization where we don't need borders? I think if we didn't have borders and everyone was able to travel freely, I think that's when we develop as a world.
Yeah, and that sounds great. But like I always said earlier, the one thing that scares me about all of a sudden you start like if there was a North American Union, you have to rewrite the fucking Constitution. I think that opens up, like we already know the corruption's happening on the United States level. I think that opens up a lot more for corruption and not good shit.
There's
man.
still executive order, like executive action or whatever, that the president can just say, hey, fuck the Constitution, like fuck the First Amendment or Second Amendment. I'm just going to
Yeah, you're right.
executive order, boom, it's done, it's over.
You're right.
Fuck you, Congress, fuck you, Senate, whatever I want to do is what I want to do.
It just scares me to see a unifying of that, knowing that the corruption that's of the upper echelon politicians and bankers and stuff like that's in power. I think that just makes it easier for them to.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
That's
the only
true.
reason why that scares me. If there wasn't any corruption up top, I'd be like, fuck yeah, who the fuck needs borders? Let's all
Yeah.
just go fucking kick it. Like why not? Like
There's always going to be conflict no matter what. Even if we did have a union and everything was kosher with everybody, there's always going to be some sort of underlying conflict that occurs within whatever
society in general. Yeah.
Fucking humans, man. We're filthy dogs
All that just
who doesn't wear fucking any sort of deodorant at all when it comes to other people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, has that ever happened? Has anybody's been like, okay, everybody can come over here, it's chill? I don't know if we've had anything to study off of that ever in history.
Nudist colonies.
Oh,
Nudist
I would
colonies
go
are
to
like, hey,
dude, if it was open borders, man, I'd move to New Zealand and just chill and kick it.
I do want to go to New Zealand.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's where I would live, man.
I will walk the path to Mordor one day.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
One day.
One day.
That's all
That's a Dwight Schrute quote, by the way.
Hey,
I've
so
watched a lot of The Office.
Motherfucking in Thailand, how many kids was it? Like 12 kids.
12, yeah.
12 kids. So let me get this straight. So they were going on some sort of like Boy Scout trip or something?
They were a
I
soccer
thought it was
team.
soccer.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
a soccer team. So what were they doing? Like a team building experiment, and they're just going to go hike wherever they want?
Yeah, they just went hiking.
And a massive rainstorm came in, and they got stuck in a fucking cave?
Yep.
For how long? Like 2 weeks?
I don't know.
Oh man, I don't think it was quite 2 weeks, but it was a long fucking
I think it was like
time,
15
man.
to 18
It was-
days or something.
It was a big, it was a big project to keep them alive down there. This is the whole thing. The guy that was in charge of all the fucking kids shouldn't have been so fucking stupid. First of all, like
Yeah.
there was warning. I'm pretty sure that there was
2 weeks.
Jesus Christ, man, in a fucking cave, scared for your life every minute. You don't know if you're gonna drown for fucking 14 fucking days straight. Fuck that, man. But no, the guy shouldn't have been so fucking stupid to do it anyway.
Why would you go in a cave if it's raining a lot?
And it's, I don't know, but I'm
Shelter from animals, whatever.
But they were like hanging out. This was like literally they were doing this shit for fun.
Why
when it should have
yeah.
been a knowledgeable thing that they shouldn't have done it. The one thing I say which is really fucking cool is whenever something extremely bad like that happens,
You think they're dead?
you get to see. Well, no, I mean not necessarily. I don't know how they had communication or anything like that. But you got to watch a bunch of people get together and then work together and for the better good to try to save these kids. And you see like what's really good in humanity. just this community coming together to do everything that they fucking could to possibly help out these people.
What
just
happened with
constantly.
the Malaysian Airlines flights? The two that got lost, like, they didn't find them.
No, they didn't find them. That's a little different scenario with that.
That's true.
Get
I'm
into the
sorry.
Malaysian air flights.
I'm
man.
not trying to ruin your dude,
That's
Jimmy. My bad.
super fucking conspiracy. But no, there was an individual who died during that whole process, which is very sad. And he,
Oh, really? Someone did die.
Yeah, he was the equivalent of a Navy SEAL for Thailand. He was like their specialist, and he actually ran out of oxygen getting oxygen to them so they could live, and,
Oh,
then, and
wow,
then drowned
really?
in the cave. Yeah, he was the one guy that died during.
When they
the whole
lived for
thing.
2 weeks, how'd they have oxygen? Like, how all of a sudden were they going to run out of oxygen?
It was I don't know, but he was getting it had to do with oxygen delivery. I don't know if they needed masks because it was becoming enclosed and they had a limited amount of air, but it had to do with him delivering stuff to them.
I think it was more getting them out, like going through the small holes and stuff that they had to squeeze through. That's where the oxygen
Got you.
problem arose, because
Yeah.
when they were in the big, underground cave-like structure, they had oxygen and because there was lots of water down there. But whenever they had to, have you seen the video of the holes they were climbing through?
Scary
I mean,
as fuck, dude.
It's literally like this big.
Well, how'd they get down there?
They literally just crawled head first into this fucking hole.
Why?
Going
I-
and
I
exploring
agree.
the fucking cave, and then
They're-
the water level fucking rose, and then you're just, oh man, it just scares me. Fucking
No.
thinking about that scenario.
You're talking about the kids originally.
Yeah.
No, there was an opening originally to get down there, but that opening was just gone.
It closed?
Something collapsed within that closed that
Got
opening.
you.
So then they had to dig and find their own ways to
Oh,
these kids,
dude.
which I don't know how they got communication in the first place.
I don't know, man. That
If you hear someone like walking or you hear a tread or anything and you're in the cave, I'm sure you're going to yell as loud as you can. I don't know how deep they were,
well.
but
I mean, I guess if it's like 12 kids or whatever, it was 12 kids,
Right.
and then like one fucking guy, you notice all those fucking kids gone. People start fucking looking.
Parents
and
are
then-
like, "Where the fuck are my kids at?" And they're like, "Well, I guess the coach was gonna go take them out to the middle of nowhere in the forest, and they're gonna go on like a little hike. So maybe check these caves over here."
during monsoon season.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was a horrible thing. It's good that they all got out. It's very sad that one individual gave his life to help in that rescue process. But the one thing, like I said before, it's always gives you faith restored in humanity kind of thing whenever you see a community get together and start working really hard together to try to solve a problem.
these search and
like
rescue
that.
teams are badass.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, they
man.
are.
Especially when it comes to like people in the ocean or people in jungles, whatever it may be. Like it's in forest and it's awesome, man. It truly is. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
That's one thing you're right that we are good at, and that we couldn't have any sort of debate or argument on is that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know the most viewed fucking YouTube video of all time. You know what it is? How many views do you think it is?
200 million.
I was gonna say 250 million.
Dude, like fucking Miley Cyrus or Katy Perry, one of the two, had almost like a 1 billion, dude. Or what's the dude's name from China? That one song, the Chinese song.
Oh, Gangnam Style.
yeah, that was like 1
Gangnam
billion.
Style.
Gangnam Style.
That was like 1 or 2 billion views, dude. No, it's fucking Lou.
Billion?
No, Lou Fantasy Despucado featuring Daddy Yankee. 5.3 billion views.
I haven't even heard that song.
Yes, you have, dude. 5.3 fucking billion views on YouTube.
Can we play it? Can we play the song?
Nah.
If you want, dude, I don't care, dude. It's fucking like I looked it up yesterday and I saw 5.3 billion. I'm like, holy fucking shit, man.
What's it called?
It's Luis Fonsi Despequado featuring Daddy Yankee.
See the guy that did that? Hoop that gasolina.
Daddy Yankee, that's Daddy Yankee, yeah.
Yeah.
Luis Fonsi, yeah, that one right there.
Apparently, I don't have internet.
It's you guys have heard it, man. I've heard it multiple
Oh
times.
wow, you're right. 3.1 billion fucking views.
No, on YouTube it's at 5.3 billion.
5.3 right here. I'm looking
Yeah.
at it.
No, I was looking at Gangnam Style. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the one I looked up. Jesus Christ.
Oh, don't do that loud, bro. Sorry. Got an 11-month-old upstairs. Te amo. You can skip ahead like a minute. That way you like hear the song. Like whenever you're closing work at night, you'll hear like the cooks playing this song, bro.
And
That's like 3/4 of the world has heard this song on the internet.
well, you gotta think that's like, well, it just goes by the what is it like the fuck, I can't even think of it. Not the URL, but it's not like if you watch that video from the same computer,
Despacito. Yeah.
it only counts it. It only counts the one view.
Right. Yeah. You can't
So-
get multiple views off the same.
So it's not
device.
even. So that's not even the right number of the actual amount of times it's been played or anything like that. You're
Exactly.
just talking about the single times.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I wonder if they manipulate that. Never.
YouTube,
like
they could. They could,
If
for
YouTube
sure.
comes in and just switches that shit up, just I don't know what.
Well,
they
imagine
benefit.
how much money they made off that. By
Oh, just
view.
advertisements.
No, yeah. I'm just saying that whoever
Oh, yeah.
uploaded that video, they made fucking money.
It's probably Vivo, right? Vivo normally does all the music videos and shit on
Yeah.
YouTube. So I don't know what company is Vivo and why Vivo has to even be a thing.
Fuck
But-
Vivo.
Yeah. I don't know what Vivo is. Fuck it, dude. You're right.
I'd have to do some background research on
Taylor
Vivo
Swift.
and why
Taylor
Vivo.
Swift has 2.5 billion views for "Shake It Off."
It's just crazy, man.
Justin Bieber's up there.
Well, that's the top of the hour, man. We're at like a minute 15 right now. We hit it hard, that podcast, man.
Yeah, that was legit though.
That was,
we
man.
packed a lot in that bitch.
We did.
Get your money's worth on Talk Junkies tonight.
That's right, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So yeah, check us out, man. We're I think that was podcast 15 or 16. Fucking subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Let us know, man, what you want us to talk about. We'll talk about it. We'll hit it as much as we can. I don't know if Trey's willing to make this an every Sunday kind of thing, but if he does, then he's our fucking motherfucking producer.
Yeah, it was legit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah,
All right.
fuck yeah.
Trey's gonna be here, so welcome Trey to the Talk Junkies Club. I'll get him a shirt. Jesse, I'm actually thinking about getting a rug, man. I think about looking at customized rugs and a rug, but I need our logo, and I want to put Talk Junkies on the rug with our logo in the middle, and I want the rug to be underneath this table.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That'd be hella dope, man. I'd be all for that.
Yeah. So if anyone out there can make a logo, let me know.
Yeah, for real. And what's really gonna get my dick hard is when finally somebody gets in contact with us some way and is like, "Hey, I need you guys to talk about this. I want to hear your opinion."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna. Oh, I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
That's we really do. We really do.
And it can't be someone we know. It has to be just like a rando.
Yeah, random fucking person. I don't give a fuck what it is. We will fucking talk about it. We will. Yeah,
Anything.
literally anything. We don't give a fuck. We have no boundaries when it comes to conversation at all. We will talk about anything.
Very true.
Yes.
Cool. Talk Junkies out.
Peace.
Later.